Welcome to Doing It My Way by Beata Matras, a podcast about project and product management, communication, brand, and IT. All these topics will definitely improve and have a positive impact on your career. So join me today, subscribe, and expect a new episode every week. Thank you. Today, we've got a really special guest, Paulina Kozub-Chwastek. Paulina excels in fostering effective collaboration among people from diverse cultures and countries, with a keen expertise in bridging communication gaps, whether it's between European countries and nations like India, Bangladesh, Nepal, or Sri Lanka. She has a unique talent for ensuring mutual understanding and harmony among teams from around the globe. We're going to talk about how to make teams from different cultures work well together, how to give feedback without stepping on toes, and how to build trust with people who see the world a little bit differently. So let's dive in and learn from Paulina's broad experiences. Welcome to the podcast, Paulina. I'm really happy to have you here.
Hello everyone. Hello, Beata. Great to be here, and thanks for having me.
Thank you, Paulina. Maybe I'll mention where we've met, because that was actually a quite interesting story, from my perspective at least. I remember I had a really bad day, and I was feeling like a mixture of sadness and kind of resignation. And I had this product tank planned on my calendar, and I was thinking oh my god, maybe I should stay on bed and just or watch, I don't know, Netflix and eat something. But I decided oh no, let's go out. And I went to the product tank, and yeah, and I've met Paulina because Paulina was doing a workshop on multicultural differences. And I remember her positive energy, but also this kind of your peaceful attitude. It was bringing this serenity and positive energy in the same time. So I really appreciate our first meeting, and it helped me to feel better. Thank you.
Beata, so many compliments from the very beginning. So it's a bit difficult for me. It was inspiring for me as well, and it was great to be there. I have to say that I'm just getting started into this community of product managers, product owners, and product people generally. And this is very inspiring community. I have to say that those people are really engaged in everything they do. I have this feeling that they read a lot. They recommend a lot of books. They go to many events, meetups, etc. And it's really amazing.
Oh yeah, nice to hear some compliments from you, Paulina. Yeah, but I feel that this community of product people is really interested in the world. Uh, well, I am one of these people, one of these folks. So yeah, just the world is so open, diverse, and it can teach you a lot, especially speaking with people, attending different meetings, different meetups, is sometimes like traveling itself. Even if you're in the same city, by talking with different people, by speaking with them, having conversations, I feel sometimes like my mind is traveling, even if I'm in Krakow. So yeah, that's amazing experience. But coming to focusing on you, um, can you tell us a bit about your journey into this intercultural training and your focus on South Asian cultures? What motivated you in that to get into that field?
What motivates me is I believe I'm changing the world. uh, More than 2 billion people live in South Asia. And I see how close we are going to be to this, to those people in business, while traveling and in everyday life. Also, this globalized remote work made it pretty obvious and easy that we work with people from around the world. And it happens also on site, not only remote. Many people from India, from Bangladesh and other countries migrate to Europe. I even have Indian neighbors in my neighborhood. And I pass by Asian people almost every day on the streets in Krakow, where I live. So intercultural training comes very natural in business now. I remember that in the learning and development area, we have developed soft skills and learned for years how to manage teams, how to manage time, how to manage tasks. And now this is just the next step. We do it in the intercultural context. So I love to see how training participants discover that people from different cultures can react and behave in different ways. And it doesn't mean that it is wrong. It is just different. It's extremely motivating for me to see that I can influence people's attitude to different management styles, different behavior, and sometimes even different values. I want to connect people, so we live in a world where we make an effort to understand each other.
Yeah, that's a beautiful mission and beautiful motivation, and I think it makes getting up and going to work much easier and much more impactful, I would say. Yeah, we all need this. I mean, I have a theory that we all need this goal um, that we are aiming to, or a mission, a vision, and the life becomes just much easier and much more like fulfilling when you have that. So, what about your journey into this like intercultural training? How did it started?
I went to Asia for the first time when I was 19, and I really fell in love with it. It was a great adventure and also a big challenge as I traveled by myself for some time, not for all travel, but for some time. And then I started to dream that one day I would be back and would be able to read and speak the local language. This is how my university path was chosen. I graduated from Indian philology, having studied Hindi. Then I studied international relations with a master's thesis about Bangladesh. And to be completely honest, in those days, I thought it was just a big passion. And one day I will have to find a way for my professional career. Only later it turned out that connecting my growing interest in business training with this culture passion can be really good mix. So still, it's not a straight career path. There are many curves, I would say, many stops, lessons learned, and not so obvious experiences. I feel like I'm continuously in the process of learning and trying different things. And working day to day in IT as a marketing campaigns coordinator gives me a lot of possibilities, skills, and experience. And it helps a lot to understand the challenges people face in IT. And this is probably why I feel the most comfortable in an IT environment when conducting training. So I work with IT people a lot. However, I have experience in training people in production centers, in traditional, let's say, public style departments, big corporations, and now, which I'm excited about, I'm starting a new adventure as a university teacher. So I will have contact with very young people, and I hope to have also some impact on their future professional career and their perspective of the world.
Wow, that's amazing. Because I think, having an impact and access to train younger generations and like young professionals who are going to enter the market very soon, and like talking about these cultural differences and communication challenges is important, because then it will be much easier for them and for people working with them to understand each other, to collaborate, to basically like to get the things done. Yeah, because it will be, I think it all starts with communication. Yeah, getting things done starts with communication. Yeah, and in your experience with cultures like India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, what were like major communication challenges that you have faced in team collaboration? And how have these challenges kind of shaped your approach to communication or collaboration?
The main challenge in team collaboration is often this attitude, we and they, and this it is even professionally in scientific field called ethnocentrism. So this ethnocentrism we usually have. We think our own culture is right, and everything that we cannot understand is neither effective nor professional. And it is really universal, no matter which culture we think we look into. Talking about South Asia specifically, there is usually this big astonishment. Why do those people say yes or no problem when actually they mean no, or they mean there is a problem? Well, the answer is very simple. Because those words mean something different for them. Yes doesn't mean yes as we can perceive it. It usually means rather something like, I hear that you are talking to me, just that. So it even doesn't mean I understand what you are talking about, or I can do it, what you are asking for. It just means I hear that you are talking to me. And I think, and I know from many people that this perspective can change a lot. People from that region are also not as explicit and direct in communication as we are used to, or as we try to follow the American style. In high context cultures, like India, for example, the responsibility for understanding the message is also on the person who listens and receives it. The American would be really surprised. So Americans and also many Europeans believe that the one speaking must be as clear and direct as much as possible, because this is his or her responsibility to be understood. And it doesn't work in India or in Japan. If you want to be seen as a professional, as clever person, you should hear what hasn't been said, or read the air, as the Japanese like to say. People who are too direct and too explicit in the communication can be seen as rude, and their intention can be seen, I think my partner is an idiot, so I have to talk very directly and clearly.
Yeah, that sounds very surprising. I mean, I want to say it sounds surprising, but I was on your intercultural training, so for me, it's like a kind of reminder of what I've already learned. But I think that's really important to have that kind of, I think, self-awareness also. Yeah, that there is not only me or they, but more there are we. Yeah, we have a common goal. We have a common task, for example, to complete. or common project to deliver. And yeah, another thing that you mentioned, it was like this no problem, or yes, where we need this high context. That's also very interesting. And actually, I wanted to ask about like this reading the air. Like, I mean, how does it work? Because we are learned to speak about our expectations, to communicate very clearly, at least in Poland. Yeah, if we want to pass something, we should be explicit. And then you're coming to us saying that the Indian cultures are more high context, and we can we cannot be too direct because they will understand it as, oh, we think about them as they are idiots or something like that. How to balance that? Is it possible?
So first of all, it can be very surprising because Polish people are also not so direct and as we used to think about ourselves. When you think about Americans, even Americans very often, even after saying a joke, they would say it was just a joke, to communicate as literally and explicitly as possible, so no one has any doubts that it was a joke. And I feel like for Polish people, it is too much. We are not so explicit. So sometimes it really helps to understand if you think about this relativity, right? So if you think, for example, that Indian people are not so direct, this is very difficult because they don't express their messages explicitly. They don't communicate directly. They don't talk openly about their expectations, about disagreements, etc. You can think that if you perceive them like this is probably similar, like, for example, Americans think about Polish people. And if you take this perspective, it will be probably easier to feel comfortable in this situation and to find some solutions to communicate well. I'm not sure if I answer your question, to be honest, but I really feel like if you want to improve your communication skills or resolve some intercultural problems or challenges, it is really helpful if you try to understand why people behave in this or that way.
Yeah, it seems like it's always about understanding not only what people are saying, but also the context they live in, or or that the context that is there, like reality or environment. I'm wondering if there are any like strategies or methods that you use to improve communication and teamwork between product teams from different cultural backgrounds.
Yeah, so I work a lot with the 8 scales model developed by Erin Meyer. She described it in her book, The Culture Map, and she also published online the country mapping tool. All that stuff is perfectly suitable for business reality. And usually I suggest analyzing the engaged cultures in this tool and learning how to improve the specific areas based on this knowledge. And there are 8 areas included in this model, like communication, like giving feedback, or especially negative feedback, giving negative feedback, but also persuading, scheduling, meaning managing the time, etc., etc. So sometimes we go through all of these areas. Sometimes we choose the most important. Yeah, and if I have this possibility or not so much time, and I have to choose one area, for example, I usually focus on task-based management and relationship-oriented culture. So I think it helps a lot to understand that some people really like to have things done before they can build some personal relationships, because they are really focused on getting things done, and they see the main value in tasks delivered. And some people just will not start any project without a good relationship first.
That's interesting, and it's task based, relationship oriented. I remember the scale that you were showing during the workshop, and we were like mapping the countries and to the scale, whether they are more task or relationship oriented, and that was eye opening again. I remember that India was actually quite surprising for me, that they are more like relationship based, which I never knew before and never like expected.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm wondering, because, when you're working like with diverse teams and have these, for example, differences between the task based or relationship oriented approach, there might appear a lot of conflicts or ineffective teamwork. What are your key advices on handling situations like that?
Erin Meyer, I mentioned her many times today because I really appreciate her work. In her book, she summarizes that intercultural teams mixed with people communicating in high and low contextual ways, they should work out together a more explicit approach to communication. So they should follow more, let's say, American style of communication, because then there is less space for misunderstanding. And I agree. However, it is very difficult to teach high context cultures as India, for example, to be as direct as Americans or some Europeans. So it is crucial to explain continuously why we are doing this and this. For example, for Indians, it is really not natural to write down everything we talk about and make summaries of the meetings. And it can be seen as a lack of trust. You know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, when we finish the meeting, a call, then one person, usually someone who conducted the meeting, is making a note with everything written down. So this person will do this and this. This person will come back with this information. This person waits for another information. Those people are responsible for this field, etc., etc. And in traditional Indian team, it can be seen as a lack of trust. So it will be important to explain why we do it, what is it for, and care for the comfortable feeling in the team. If you want to implement something that is not natural for the high context culture, you better make sure people know that you appreciate their job. So the main advice for conflicts and ineffective teamwork would be to build trust before and carefully develop relationships. When the conflict arises, it is crucial to be discreet and careful. For some cultures, the conflict isn't a big deal. It can be treated just as an exchange of different opinions. And for others, this is a shocking incident. In some cultures, people avoid conflicts as long as possible. And if the conflict happens, it is a big scratch on a team's harmony. And team's harmony is a really big value. So it's something that people are afraid of, to break this kind of harmony.
Can you give like example of countries, for example, or cultures that are afraid of conflict, and this is something like, you know, a huge incident? And
yeah, so generally many countries from Asia don't like conflicts, and they avoid disagreement. So even one of the Erin Mayer's scales is called disagreement. And some cultures, like Germany, for example, or like Polish people, or like people from the Netherlands, they are very open, and this, like I want to say they can disagree very openly, and it is okay for everyone. Like, I have this opinion, and I totally don't agree with you, and this is okay to say it. You just have to prepare great arguments. You have to answer why you don't agree, why you disagree with someone, but it is totally okay for your relationship. And in some cultures, it is very, very difficult. People usually don't disagree openly. So if you ask some difficult question about something what is really uncomfortable for the other person, he or she will probably not answer your question, or will just give you some, you know, very blurred message, I would say. Yeah, this is why we often say that in India, if you hear yes, it very often doesn't mean yes, but it means the person doesn't know what to tell you, how to answer your question, or or how to disagree with you, for example. Yeah. Oh, I have a interesting example just from now, I would say, because I am going to India next month, and I am going to Kerala on the south of India, where I'm going to spend some time with Indian family. I don't know them yet, and I have started to communicate with them by WhatsApp, and I wanted to ask them if there is a bus or another kind of transport to another part of this state. It's just 250 kilometers, but in India it can take you all day traveling. And I asked a simple question. Sylvie, could you tell me if there is a bus from Munnar, from the place where you live, to Varkala, to the place on the south of India? And she answered, yes, there are a lot of buses. And then I have already known that something is strange, because before she gave me much information about different things, which were really given in details. And she wrote me, like very long messages, with dates, with hours, with details about our meeting, what we are going to do together, where we are going to when we are there. And for my question about transport, which I generally need much more information about it, right? And I just got this answer: there are so many buses. So I have already known that something is, strange, and probably
something is.
and she probably doesn't know, right? But I decided to kindly ask one more question to make sure that I will not get the information from her. So I asked Sylvie, So are those buses going through Cochin or through other places? And again, she answered, there are different routes. So again, no specific information. In different cultures, probably I would, if someone from United States, for example, would give me this kind of answer, I would think, okay, there are different routes, so I have to ask what kind of routes, how I can go there, which bus goes which way. But here, I already know that she doesn't know, but she wants me to come there, to their place. She's afraid that I can, just disappear because there are no buses, or the buses are, difficult to get, or they go many hours, etc. So she likes repeats all the time, no problem, right? With different words, but now I know that I have to check the buses.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. That's a really interesting story. I also remember one that you were speaking about in a workshop about ordering food. Remember, yeah, in the restaurants. It was also like interesting, but yeah, someone has to like come to your training to hear it, like more interesting stories like that, and how to actually ask a proper question, or what way of thinking you should implement if you want to communicate clearly with Asian cultures, for example, yeah, or yeah, different ones. You mentioned a lot about the trust that helps to avoid conflicts and ineffective teamwork. But what about trust being like a crucial for team success? What are your thoughts on that?
Just let's remember that trust doesn't mean the same thing in different cultures. So some cultures build trust based on task delivered. So yeah, I have mentioned it today already a little bit. They build trust based on task delivered and getting things done. For Americans, for example, it usually goes like this. I trust you because you did a great job for me. You have shown me I can count on you. You did a great job. So we can even go for a beer to celebrate great teamwork. And then talk more personally. So first comes work, tasks, and only then, when it is a great delivered, we can build closer relationship. And in India, it follows the completely opposite way. So I will trust you to deliver tasks for me, or to assign you something to do, if I get to know you personally well. I need to know you as a person to make sure we can work together and trust each other on the professional level. There's no business without a personal relationship. So to give you suitable advice, you need to discover what kind of culture your people come from. If they are from a task-oriented culture, make sure your job is done well. Focus first on the tasks and timeline, and actually don't waste too much time on long talks not related to the job. And if you cooperate with a relationship-based culture, be patient and plan to spend much more time developing personal relationships. Erin Meyer says that the relationship is your contract, and that investing time in establishing trust will often save time and other resources in the future. Trust is like insurance. I love this quote. It's an investment you need to make upfront before the need arises. Thanks, Erin, for those precisely formed expressions.
Yeah, it's powerful, yeah, that the trust is like the insurance you need to invest first to yeah, to use it when needed. Maybe you will never use it, but still, like, you, it makes you feel safe and confident, yeah.
That's perfectly said. And in Asian countries, it usually means talking about personal life, family, free time, hobbies, and even sharing some secrets, I would say. It happens that people invite you to their home and expect you spend time with their family, which is not obvious in on the West, right?
Yeah, yeah. When you invite someone to your house, it's very often like this is a very close relationship. Like in, I think, for example, from my experience, yeah, I invite in the past, like invited more people, definitely more people into my apartment. But the older I get, the less people I invite because I feel like this is my personal space. I don't want anyone to like, interrupt. It's weird. I don't know. But in India, I understand it's like completely different.
Yeah, this personal, private, and work life, they mix a lot. And if you want to be a good manager, if you want to be a good colleague, you need to somehow share your life with other people and show that you are also not only your professional yourself, but also a private one. That's why it is very common to talk about weddings, about children, about weekends, and parents, etc.
Yeah, and it takes time, yeah. As you said, it's kind of time consuming. And very often we feel like, oh my God, it's useless. I just want to make this thing, happen and that's all. When yeah, it sometimes you just not need, but you just feel that you want to talk with someone, yeah. You just want to get to know the person that is on the other side and what motivates her or him on a daily basis. What are this person's hobbies, yeah. What is like interesting, what is their stories, yeah, because people are stories. For example, for me, like each person has a unique story. And sometimes you just sit with someone. For example, when I'm like inviting guests for the podcast, I very often like have this 30-minute conversation. I just, stalk people on social media. and and then I'm trying to find out who they are, what is their story, and how actually their journey or the point that they're in right now started. um yeah, because that's exciting, and I think we all have these stories that we're not telling to anyone, and they can change someone's life. I think, I don't know, I have that feeling. um but yeah,
Yeah, so
a little.
there is a lot of sharing, not only stories, but also food, also space, also some personal things in Asia. And you can feel it like if you enter someone's home, you are starting to be part of their family. Yeah, and you can feel very safe. I remember also when I went to Bangladesh, it was very exciting because many people were thinking and talking about Bangladesh as a not a so safe place. Like not so many people go to Bangladesh actually. So it was like, where is it? And how will you get there? And will you be back safe from there? And then it turned out that being there was very, very comfortable because those people who met us there, they feel like responsible for us and for our security, I would say. So if we meet someone, if we talk for a while, he started to be our angel or our guide. And he wanted to make sure that he will care for us until some some moment when we are going farther. But for example, if he was able to go with us to the railway station and to help us to buy tickets, he did it because he wanted to make sure we will be okay. And it was a really special feeling that we were so, cared for, that people felt responsible for us, that we were in some really different place. But we didn't felt like uncomfortable or unsafe.
That's really encouraging, and yeah, you feel safe when you know you can lean on someone. And in the kind of professional context, do you think that teams that invest a lot of time into like building this trust, do they improve their work?
So I talk about personal experiences, not only from the work field, because I want to show that those two lives really mix together and really connect, and you cannot separate them in any way. However, yeah, if you ask me about totally professional environment, one of the managers I worked with on said she started to write private messages on company communicator like Slack or Teams. I don't remember now. And every day she write private messages to her colleagues in India. Some very simple messages like, how are you? What are you working on today? How is it going? How can I help you? And it brought essential results. She really could count on her team after practicing it for some time. They also began to be bolder and dare to ask for help when they had a problem, which is uncommon among Indian employees. So yeah, it has a power.
That's amazing. Yeah, it has a power, definitely. I really agree with this kind of work life blend. I think I don't know if you listen to any of my podcasts, but it's always about, blending life and work, because I don't know, I mean, in the past I thought like it can be a kind of split. We have work, we have life, and we can like split it, but I'm actually a person who like gets attached to people easily. And I feel like in Indian or in Asian cultures, um, I would feel really good like working with them. I mean, in my current company, I'm also like working with teams based in Bangalore, for example, but not, I would say, on a like super daily basis. I feel like I would like to like visit someday, or maybe like work more with these cultures, because I have like a similar, I think, approach to life as you, as Asian cultures. But coming back to the conversation, that's one of the proofs. Like, I'm trying to like put a little bit of professional, but also like personal
Yeah,
context into these
blend.
conversations also, because, yeah, blend. I mean, we're just people. Yeah, we like to listen. As I said before, I don't know if like listen to the stories, but also like just talk to people, talk with each other, like have a conversation, like basically build a bond that we can feel safe in, I would say. Yeah. I don't know, or just feel for a moment like we're in something together. It just makes life more beautiful, I think. Yeah, just general. But coming to the questions and to the daily life, I would say, how can we like more like incorporate these different cultural perspectives into our everyday team interactions?
First of all, talk about those differences in your team. Yeah, I think this is fundamental. Conduct training, analyze intercultural models, and try to find parallels to your team. I think nowadays people usually have heard about the cultural impact on business before. So especially in IT environment, I would say. So you don't need to persuade people that this is important. They are often usually interested and inspired to dig into it. to be honest, I love to listen to those stories during the training sessions. When one of the participants starts to describe how he has built a close relationship with a colleague from some completely different culture in the company, it's kind of magic. He's excited about how they spend time after work together and how it helps at the workplace. And other participants are usually impressed and inspired by such stories, events.
But, sometimes you hear that someone was, I don't know, skydiving, and then you like feel a fire in yourself that, oh my God, I want to try it too. Yeah. And the kind of new dreams, new goals are appearing. And yeah, talking about it is just, yeah, it can bring you the idea of, oh, I want to try it too. I remember like even like yesterday I spoke with my friend, and he was talking about the different tastes of coffee. And I realized, like, oh my God, I just, make a coffee every day. I love coffee, but I really don't feel like the differences between, a different, um, yeah, different kinds of coffee. And I felt like I would like to actually experience that, like, get like different types depending on the grain's origin, for example. Like it's a small thing, but makes us more present, I think, in a moment, yeah, and makes this pleasure, these small pleasures, like a big thing. But also, like when I'm talking about it, I think there's also like this kind of empathy that you need to have to actually understand the other person. What are your thoughts on being like more empathetic and how it impacts the team dynamics?
The most important element of such a scenario is that people who get to know each other, who are interested in other cultures and who want to learn more about it, they just start to be more patient and more understanding to their colleagues. And even if their behavior is not justifiable while working together, even if it is very difficult for them to understand it, or they totally don't agree with this way of communicating, this way of giving feedback, this way of managing the tasks, the team, etc. They just start to be more patient, and they think, okay, maybe these people behave in this way because of something. So she lives or he lives in totally different place. He was born in totally different environment. He was growing up among totally different things, people, etc. So something impacts on him and on his or her behavior. And I will probably have this motivation to dig into it and to learn more. And it gives me this space. Okay, even if I don't understand, I will not judge. I will not be mad about something because the person is different from me.
Yeah. I don't know, Paulina, you like make it very special because every time I'm with you, I feel like I become really patient. It's not easy. Um you have like kind of skills to, I feel like, make people really present and patient in your company. This is I think one of your talents. Just wanted to mention that because I just realized that I stopped making notes at some point and just started to listen and really like be here with you. So I think you're a true example that what you are teaching people, you actually like are implementing in your day to day, and I admire that really.
Thank you, Beata. Thank you so much. It's really so nice to hear that. I remember from our first meeting that you was a person who gave so many compliments after our workshop. So yeah, it's always very nice to hear it, of course. Yeah, it is difficult in everyday life, I think. Yeah, but I really believe that if we are open for something different, if we want to learn about something different, if we want to meet another person and try to look at the world through his or her eyes, it can be really influential and can really bring great results also in business.
And if I could add, like, from my side something, because I tend to say a lot of positive things to people, and I mean, maybe not always I was like that, but from some time I started to be like that because I just I just want to see good in people. I just want to see their positive side, not only the kind of the darkness and the negatives that, I mean, it costs me the same amount of energy to actually see the negative or the positive traits of people. Yeah. And I just choose the light. I just choose to be more positive and see the beauty and see good than focus on the things that also like make me feel like worse. Yeah. If you think like in people in a context of negativity, or only like these kind of unpleasant traits or things that, oh, they did this wrong or that wrong. I have a tendency for that also. I do not agree, but I think when you're like focusing day to day on just seeing more and more of this positiveness and light in life, just life becomes much easier. And yeah, it's my choice. Yeah, it's the choice.
Agree, agree. It's really difficult, and it's the choice. Usually, it is the most difficult to practice it with the people you live with, and you are the closest with.
Yeah, that's why I'm living alone, because people don't want to like see me when I'm angry or hungry. Better not to talk to me then. But yeah, I'm just if I'm hungry, if I'm tired, I try to just limit the interactions with people so I will not hurt them. Yeah, and that's my way of limiting my radioactiveness to the world.
That's great that you have this self-awareness, right? It's a big gift.
It's not a gift, it's a hard work. Paulina, I speak about it a lot. I went through therapies, I went through mentoring sessions, I've went through a lot of trainings to build this self-awareness. And at some point I just reached the point where I just realized, like, yeah, I'm not perfect, I have my dark sides also, and it's my choice whether I control them and how I kind of channel this dark negative energy, and if I want to spread it to the world, or yeah, just keep it for myself, or just deal with it in a different way. Yeah, like sport, for example. That's everyone's responsibility, I think.
And this is very also very interesting from this intercultural perspective, because that's true that sometimes Polish people are seen a little bit as maybe not negative, but as complaining a lot, as seeing this darker side of the situation, and yeah, and I agree with it. We can be perceived like this, but it's not always so bad, because many people from different cultures also admire it, that we are very realistic about many things. So we not only complain about things, not only see the darker side of the things, but we also look for the solutions, and also are very proactive and can be realistic, not only so optimistic about everything. And it also is inspiring for many people from different cultures.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Although I wouldn't say, like, I mean, complaining, it's more about clearly communicating that we are not satisfied with something. In a
Yeah, you
business
can say
language,
like
like,
that.
yeah, we're just, yeah, clearly communicating
Yeah.
that something is not working for us and we want to fix it. And yeah, very often we are coming up with solutions, yeah, great solutions. Or when we are like super, tired with something not working, we just start working on solving that. And then like, okay, it's solved. Like, leave me alone. I solved that. Yeah, I was complaining about it. So yeah, but it's very important to not stop only like on complaining, but also like, go somewhere and solve what's not working. Yeah, because complaining without action can be quite energy draining, to be honest. And about complaining and maybe like more giving the feedback, because it's also like kind of a complaint. It can be, I think, tricky, to give feedback. Yeah, especially when dealing with different cultures. So, what are like your main tips for giving feedback in such contexts?
Yeah, feedback is a tricky thing, definitely. So some people expect you will literally tell them what you think, and what is more, if you do not, you are going to be called a liar. So those people believe feedback is a tool to proceed the tasks faster and better. And those task-oriented cultures we were talking about earlier today follow this rule. For example, the Dutch people. However, I have also mentioned it today. This is crucial to have well-prepared arguments about why you think something should be changed, or why you think something you perceive as excellent done. And on the other hand, feedback can be a very sensitive aspect, for example, for Indian people. So never give direct feedback in India until you are 100% sure the person knows you appreciate him or her as a person. Also, it's extremely unprofessional to give negative feedback in a group setting. So if you see it's important to improve or change something in a person's behavior, it's much better to spend more time and arrange adequate conditions. Sometimes it will be right to give negative feedback outside of the office when having something to drink or better to eat. Some managers even invite their employees to their homes to communicate something unpleasant. Just to make a comfortable environment and make sure the person sees how important he or she is for this manager.
And for me, when I heard about it for the first time, it was like shocking. Like a person is inviting you to the house, yeah, like treating you with, for example, dinner or lunch, whatever, and then is trying to make you feel so safe that he or she can pass this feedback. And it's, yeah, I think for my kind of experiences, it was like, it was shocking that it's even possible. But at the same time, yeah, it again shows like how much they care and how much responsibility they feel towards not only themselves but about other people and how they can feel and how that can impact them. Yeah, we're very often not that focused on what the receiver of the message can feel. We just want to like do the thing. Yeah, just do the task and that's all. um and on the other side, there is always like a human who have the emotions, has a specific environment, context, problems. And yeah, even like a small feedback can sometimes lead to, for example, like a breakdown of a person. Yeah, we need to be responsible for what we are saying to other people. We need to keep that responsibility in us also. Yeah.
This is great that you mentioned context aspect, because it is very interesting. It can help to understand this context thing if you look for two pictures. So imagine that some people, average people, were asked to take a photo of another person. And one photographer, I mean, not professional, but a person who takes a photo, is from Japan and one is from United States. And this scientific experiment showed that people from United States usually take a photo of head of the person and sometimes, shoulders, but usually it's like this, like passport photo, right? And at the same time, people from Asia, from Japan, it was about Japan, took a photo of all the space the person was standing. So there was a photo like this. The person was here, and there were so many things. There was all this context of this person, where she's standing, where she lives, etc. So on this Asian photo, you could see a room, you could see some nature, you could see how all the whole person looks like. That maybe there are other people, that the person has a dog in her house, that there are many colors, for example, etc., etc. So you don't see just the person, just the face, but you see all around her. And this is very inspiring for me personally, because it shows me how the context you are in is important for people from Asia, for example.
That's really again like interesting and eye-opening. And yeah, coming back to the feedback, like are there like any fundamental rules for giving feedback that's both like helpful and well received? Do you have something like that?
So again, analyze what culture are your people from, because if your people are, for example, from Germany, they will or from the Netherlands, they will expect very direct, literal, and explicit feedback, and they will expect you will make it short but very clear, what they did well, what they did wrong, and they are okay with it if they did something wrong and they have to do it again or implement something new, for example. And they can separate the direct negative feedback to the tasks from their person. So they don't get the feedback to the tasks as a negative feedback to them as people, right? So they usually can say, for example, okay, I did something wrong, but I am okay. And if you do it in Asia, in Asian cultures, you will definitely see there is always this context. So there is no separation, split between me and my tasks. So if I get direct negative feedback to my tasks, I think I am wrong. I'm not okay. Because I heard I did something wrong, right? So always remember that if you give someone direct negative feedback in Asia, you shouldn't be so direct, because it can be taken as an attack, personal attack for this person. So this is, I think, one advice: just analyze what culture your team is from, and what is okay for them, what is not okay for them. But the most important, I think, is to build relation first. As we mentioned today, trust and building relationship is like an insurance. So if you want to give negative feedback, you should always make sure that this person knows you appreciate her or his work. He or she is sure that he as a person or she as a person is okay and is needed in the team. But just something he or she did wasn't good enough. So this is very important to express it.
It sounds again like, relationships, relationship building, trust building, that are the most crucial, I think, like foundations for all these
Yeah,
communication challenges.
foundation is a
And
great word.
either it's giving feedback or like collaboration with teams.
Yeah, just remember that this foundation can be different for different cultures, right? So if you want to build great foundation in the Netherlands or in the United States, you should show that you can deliver things. And this is this trust there. This is this foundation and this insurance, I would say. And oppositely, in India, it starts with the personal relationship always.
Yeah, but either it's like a task based, or building a personal relationship. It's again about a relationship. Yeah, these are
Yeah,
just different
definitely.
means of
Yeah,
building
yeah, definitely.
like reliability and trust. Paulina, I think we need to wrap up. I
Yeah,
think there
definitely.
is like a lot of there is a lot of helpful tips, and I think our conversation is like very valuable in the topic of building trust, relationship, and cultural differences. But to wrap up, what is like one vital insight or piece of advice that you would like our listeners to remember from today's discussion?
Only one.
Okay, it can be more. If you have more, it can be more.
I would start with be interested in the people you work with, be interested in the cultures they come from, and it will guide you, it will help you to communicate in the proper way. So it would be one. If you don't understand something, just ask, show that you care and want to learn about them. Because if you show this interest, no matter if it is while working with Americans, the Dutch people, or Indian people, if you show this interest, they will be more open and also will tolerate your mistakes or faux pas. So be interested in it, and remember that in many cultures the relationship is your contract, your insurance for the future, and nurture the relationship. Make sure people know you appreciate their work, and particularly them as valuable people.
That are very valuable lessons, and thank you for summarizing that. Uh, what about like you, Paulina? I want to like ask a specific question about your kind of personal goals or intentions for 2024, or maybe professional, or maybe there is like a blend of them.
I would say there is blend. I'm preparing to go to India, to Kerala in March. So it's important for me. I love this country. I love this culture, and I'm always excited to go there. At the same time, I am starting a new training adventure as a university teacher. So I am also excited, as I mentioned, that I will have this influence on young people, on their professional career, on their future, on their thinking, perceptions. And I also hope to take part in some conferences and other knowledge sharing projects, like meetups, like some community meetings. This year, I think knowledge sharing is really important, and I see value in it, and I really see a mission in it. However, all those activities demand a lot of time and engagement, and I wish I could harmonize it with my family life. My husband and my kids stay at the center of my life, and I put them first, and want to have a weekend in the mountains with them. It would be best once a week.
Yeah, definitely. And for our audience, like eager to learn more or seek your expertise, where can they find you online and how you can assist them?
So just feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I think it is easy to find me as I have two surnames. So you can find me easily. I can help with intercultural challenges in your organization. I usually perform as a business trainer and work with teams to improve communication with people from India, from Bangladesh, and other countries. I also help people and teams who work in a very mixed intercultural environment. So people coming from very different cultures and working together.
Okay, Paulina, I'll link your profile to the podcast episode, and I really wanted to
Thank
thank
you.
you for this conversation and for being brave enough to speak in a foreign language, because for both of us it's not easy to speak in English like super fluently because we are not natives. But thank you for
Yeah,
being
definitely.
with me on that journey.
Beata, it was really a big pleasure to be here. Thanks again for having me, for inviting me to this initiative. I am really impressed by your work and how you are really, motivated to do it, to continue the project you started. So good girl, and really good job, and good luck for the future.
Thank you, Paulina, and yeah, it was a pleasure to have you here. Thank you. Thanks for joining me on another episode of Doing It My Way by Beata Matras. If you enjoyed this episode, please do not forget to subscribe. Remember, this podcast is a dynamic journey and your feedback is very welcomed. Connect with me on social media. I would like to hear your thoughts, questions, and topic suggestions. And stay tuned for upcoming episodes. And until next time, keep doing it your way.